this video is for the class Discovering Pre-Algebra Part 2, and in this worksheet 2.1 we're looking at some proportions. So if you're in my class, you know the drill. Start pausing and grading your work. If you're not and you would like to be, all you have to do is look below into the description and you will see a link to my OutSchool page. Alright, let's get started. So I'm going to zoom in. All right. So in this one, remember, I don't teach the cross product rule. The reason I don't teach cross product is because I think that people start getting confused when they do division and they do multiplication of fractions because of this trick. Essentially, cross product is kind of a trick. And so instead I do opposite operations. So you'll see in each one of these problems, 1 through 3, that we have the denominator dividing the numerator. And the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So to solve these, we have to multiply by what we want to get rid of, what we want to undo in the problem in order to get the unknown by itself. So in this first one, we're multiplying both sides by 12, okay? Because that means these two will cancel out, or you could say they will make a 1. And what I do to one side, because of this equal sign, I gotta observe the rules of equality. If it has an equals, it says I'm going to be equal in my operations on both sides. So I'm going to also multiply this side by 12. Alright, so I already know that if I multiply this side, that I'm going to get a 1. 12 over 12 is a 1. So I'm just going to cancel those out because the identity property tells me that 1s can multiply to anything, doesn't change a thing. Alright, so 2 times, so this side I got to make this fraction. I'm going to put a 1 underneath. 2 times 12 is 24, and 1 times 3 is 3. 3 can go into 24 8 times. So now I know that to conclude this proportionality, to finish it, I have to put an 8 where that question mark is. So my unknown equals 8, and those question marks will turn into variables soon enough. Alright, and this one, in order to solve, I'm going, and let me pick a different color, because this is kind of confusing, using the same colors I did the answers in. Alright, so in this one, I got to multiply both sides by the 25. Okay, these two will become a 1 over here. I'm going to do that bad boy. So it's going to be 25 times 3, which is 75. 1 times 5, which is 5. 5 goes into 25. Sorry, 5 does not go in. I mean, it does, but that's not the number. It goes into 75 15 times. Alright, in this one, I'm going to multiply both sides by 28 because the 28 is dividing my unknown. So to undo it, so I get it by itself and can identify what it is, I'm going to do this. And on this one, I'm going to show you how this proportional statement works, okay? So, you know, hold on to the seat of your chair there. So these are going to go to 1, alright? I'm going to put 1 underneath here. 28 times 3. What is 28 times 3? Well, let's see. 3 times 8 is going to be 24. Carry a 2. 6, 7, 8. It's going to be 84 over 4. Well, 4 goes into this 21 times. Okay, so let's look at this. We're saying the proportionality is this. Remember I told you in class that easy proportionalities, when we start working with money and rates, doing the proportionality of different unit prices and whatnot, we're going to run in tons of decimals. But for right now, we can look at this as this is equivalent fractions. So it's like I multiplied the 4 and the 4 and the 3 by 7 to get 21 over 28. There's a proportionality, just like with equivalent fractions, just like all the other equivalent relationships we're going to be looking at in this particular class as we look at proportional thought. All right, remember I told you that if my unknown is on the bottom, then it's the one dividing, and we can't have that. So what we do first off is we have to flip both fractions. So I'm going to flip my fraction so that my number's on the top. Remember the rule of equality says as long as I do it to both sides, we are good to go. All right, so now it's just solving the way we did in the last one. That's going to go to a 1. Put a 1 underneath this. This is 12 over 3, which reduces down to a 4. All right, let's flip this one. Said it, and I didn't do it. So now it's 7 over 5 equals the question mark over 55. You might already see that it's 11. I had to multiply by that 5 by 11 to get to 55. So I have to multiply the 7 by 11 and it becomes 77. But let's do the math. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 55. This is going to be some math I'm going to do. Put that over 1. All right. 55 times 7 is going to be, 385 over 5. Now 5 goes into that number a number of times. That was my joke. 70, no. I made a mistake. It's 77 times. But let me show you mathematically. I wanted to anyway, because this one was a big one. Remember, when you're doing your division, one of the things you got to be careful of is some people try to take that whole entire number and say, how many times can 5 go into this whole entire number? You don't have to know your times tables up to 385. All right, just take it one digit at a time. Can 5 go into 3? No. Can 5 go into 38? Yes, it can go in 7 times, which is 35, which gives me 3 left over. Drop down my 5. Hey, look there. 5 can also go into 35 7 times. Look, I didn't have to know my times tables up to 385. I can just take it one digit at a time. All right, that's the same kind of concept. Let's flip this. You may already be able to see that that's a 3, so the top has to be 27. But let's actually do the math. All right, same song and dance. Multiply both sides by that 24 because that 24 is dividing the unknown. Those are going to cancel out, and we're going to get 24 times 9. I cannot talk and think. All right, so this is going to be a 36, then 18, 19, 20, and 21. So 216 over 8 equals the question mark. Now let's do this division. Well, 8 can't go into the 2, okay? It can go into the 21, and it can do that 2 times. That's going to be 16. It's going to give me a remainder of 5. Drop down my 6. 8 goes into 56. It actually does it, 7 times. If you know 7 times 5 is 40, work your way up. The next one would be 48, so that's 6 times 8. And 7 more onto 48 would get us to 56, which is 7 times 8. All right, so our answer is 27. That's our answer. All right. Now on this one, our numbers are on the smaller side. So if you were checking yourself saying what times what times what, now you're going the opposite direction. So to get from 9 to 3, we divide the 9 by 3, right? So that means I have to divide the top by 3, which gives me a 1. The answer to this one is 1. All right, but let's do it mathematically as well, okay? Question mark over 3. The 3 is dividing the unknown. So to get rid of it, I have to multiply it on both sides. So again, that's going to turn into a 1, leaving me just with the question mark. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 1 is 9. Anything over itself, okay? It's the same thing as saying 9 divided into 9. We know it's going to be a 1 because we're super geniuses. Very good, you guys. All right, let's do number 8. So in number 8, I have question mark over 50 equals 18 over 100. To get the question mark by itself, I have to multiply both sides by 50 this time. All right, so let me do some quick fire math. You know what? I'm going to flip them. Because now all I have to do is multiply both numbers by 5 and drop down the 0, just like when we multiply by tens. That's essentially what's happening. So that's going to be 40, carry my 4, 5, 9, 900. 900 over 100. Now remember, when you divide factors of 100, you can kind of cancel out, and that's going to give me 9. Or you can move that decimal, however you want to look at it. And the answer is 9. All right, so the 5 is going to be dividing, so to undo it, I have to multiply on both sides. It's going to turn into a 1. 10 times 5 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 1 is 10. So again, we have an answer of 1. All right, got to flip it. Okay, this is another flip it, because our question mark's on the bottom. It's the thing dividing into. We get into this meta situation, and it's really confusing. And we decide, hey, let's just flip it so that we can do our math easier. I did one thing wrong, though. When you flip one side, you must flip the other side. Because remember, it's only allowable math if I follow those rules of equality and I keep both sides equal by doing the same thing to both. All right, so I have to multiply both sides by an 8 and put that over 1. That's going to go to a 1. All right, 32 times 8 is going to be 256 over 4. Let's see how many times I can divide 4 into this number. All right, 4 cannot go into 2. So we look at 25. Yes, it can. It can go in 6 times, which is 24, giving me a remainder of 1. Can drop down that 6, and 4 can go into 16 4 times. The answer is 64. All right, again, let's flip it. All right, so I have to multiply both sides by 1, which doesn't do much for me. Okay, because it's still just 49 over 7, but I can divide these, and I know that 7 can go into 49 7 times. If you don't, just do it. Just start working. Go with the highest one you know, like 5. Everybody knows their 5s. 5 times 7 is 35. Add 7 more to get it to 6, and that will give you 42. 7 more is 49, so 7 times 7. All right, let's flip it. Got to multiply both sides by that 4. Do some math over here. I feel like we've had that number before, but that's not the way we got to it. All right, question mark equals 256 over 16. Well, obviously 16 is only going to go into this once, because 2 would be in the 30s, right? It would actually be 32. So it would be once. Give me a leftover 9. Drop down the 6. And 16, I believe, goes in there 6 times. 6, 7, 8, 9. Just try out numbers if you have to. Not a big deal. Okay, to try out numbers. I always call it our handmade calculator when we do that. So not a big deal at all. And that will end our problem and our worksheet. The answer is 16. And keep doing this till you feel like you got it. Remember, we believe in mastery, not percentage grades on these worksheets. So just keep doing it. Little mistakes are little mistakes. They just take tons of practice to get over them. Do not be mad at yourself for them. I want to know that you know the process of doing proportions. All right, come back to class next time, and we will get more to do and learn and discover and all kinds of awesome stuff. All right, see you in the next one.